You guys like this poster? I was gonna take it tonight to the bar where I do stand-up comedy, but I got this oil leak in my car that I need to get taken care of. And so I don't feel comfortable driving out to Nashville with that going on. But, you know, they talk about racism and sexism and homophobia, transphobia. But they need to talk about this, you know, because it's fucked up that there are so many people that hate cats. And I really don't disagree with Andrew Tate on much, but I definitely disagree with him when he bitches about cats, because that's fucked up. Let me tell you a little secret. Hating an entire species is not Christ-like. Like, if you hate something that God made, you're not a good person, okay? You don't have to like everything and everyone, that's fine. You can have your preferences, you can have your biases, but to downright hate an entire species of something and then bitch about people that like that species or appreciate that species, it's like, that's really messed up, you know? Like, I've said this about music. Like, there's different types of music that I don't like, but I don't bitch about people that listen to it because I don't give a fuck. You know, I've always had friends that are metalheads, and I still hang out with them when they listen to metal because they have pot, you know? And so they need that pot. They really do. Obviously, they need it. But, you know, I used to hang out with this friend of mine who'd always listen to, like, death metal. And I just go over there and we just smoke bowl after bowl after bowl. And who just texted me? Somebody texted me. Who was it? I can't see anything. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to let that go. But I don't have to be at work till 5. So technically I don't have to show up for a few more hours, but I said I would be there at 3. So I'm just going to chill here for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to head on over there. But maybe I'll get some sun. I can already tell, like, I'm getting sunburned. Can you see it? That's what happens when you're really fair-skinned. Ooh, another text message. Did you hear that? That's the sound of somebody texting me. I have it on Chinese water torture mode, apparently. That's funny. That's only funny in context. But yeah, I like this poster a lot. I was gonna add to it, but I tend to leave it white if I feel like the message is from God, because God made cats. So if God made cats, it is very antithetical to a belief in God, to be so hateful towards the feline community, all because you don't like them. That's fine that you don't like cats. I don't take that personally, you know. A lot of people don't like cats. But to hate cats and to bitch about people owning cats, I just think that's fucking wrong, okay? It's wrong. So, maybe that's why I meow, to stop feline hate. I don't know. But, yeah, I brought these other posters to color, so I guess I'm gonna do that. But, yeah, I think it's really messed up to just, like, hate stuff for no reason. You know, I mean, well, I'm sure that, you know, you say you have a reason to hate them. You know, like, there are a lot of people that really hate pitbulls, and, like, if you look at if you look at like what pit bulls can do to somebody's face or somebody's body parts, it's understandable like why people don't like them, and why they think that they should be banned. But you know, I have a pretty nuanced view of the whole thing because I just have a lot of friends that have pit bulls, and you know, I've never been attacked by one. So, you know, fingers crossed, fingers and toes and everything I could possibly cross, I'm gonna cross, that I don't get attacked by a pit bull. But, you know, people that own these dogs will swear up and down that they're the sweetest little things in the world and that they would never hurt them. And I'm like, well, I hope you're right. You know, I really do. I hope you're right. Because I don't want to get that call from the ER. You know, this friend of mine, he actually got attacked by his pit bull. But the reason why the pit bull attacked him was because he was trying to separate the dogs when they were fighting over food. I'm like, well, why the fuck would you do that? You know? It seems like if dogs are fighting over food, like that's just something you gotta let go. You know, because that's what they're gonna do. They're very, very food-driven animals. So it don't make no sense to try to come between that. But he said that, you know, he got his hand stitched up and everything, and the dog knows that he fucked up, and so every time that he sees him, he licks his hand. So they're conscious of like a lot of stuff, like way more than we want to give them credit. So I don't know. I don't like to believe that an entire species is bad. Or like we base our opinion on something because of like, you know, the lowest common denominator. And that just doesn't make sense to me. You know, and you, of course, like, you know, you could say that about race. You could say that about gender. And, you know, anytime that you have a particular bias towards something, you're only going to focus on things that confirm that bias, or reaffirm that bias, rather. You're not going to look at, you know, the countless amount of people that haven't gotten attacked by a pit bull, that have owned a pit for a long time, or they raise them or whatever. You know, if you have a bias towards a race or a gender or, you know, a sexual orientation, like you're only going to look at the bad people in that particular identity group. So, you know, I just think that that's like a weakness, like that's a societal weakness. And I think that a lot of the reasoning behind like why people attack each other and why dogs attack, now I know pits like have additional amounts of L-tyrosine. So it's not like that neurotransmitter that makes them more aggressive. So it's literally like in their DNA to be more aggressive, and they were bred to be that way. So it's silly that people want to say, no, they're not that way. Like, they literally are, dude. They literally are. So that's why, like, you know, pugs, like, they have breathing problems because they were bred to have breathing problems. They're not going to not have breathing problems. So I think about that, like how, you know, environment has a lot to do with like why we behave the way that we do, but it's also, you know, biology. And so it's like there's this whole like nature versus nurture debate, but what if they're both like equally important? And all the time that we're spending like focusing on one aspect, you know, denying the other aspect, like that does us way more harm than good, all because we don't want to be a little bit more open-minded and admit that we could possibly be wrong.